coming to you guys live from the NY. Currently, I'm here on Red Hook. Took my daughter to get her free swimming lessons. So I'm gonna be here for another 45, maybe an hour. But I wanted to take the time out and just talk to the people for a minute. I wanted to address this misconception about our culture and what's our culture and what is taught behavior. Now, I posted up a video on my IG where it shows a sister just doing stupid dance moves on the floor and then, put her head on the ground and lift her legs up in the air. Matter of fact, why don't I just show you it one time for the one time so you guys can get a clear understanding of what I'm saying. You know, it's things like this. Okay, so let me play the original one. I want you guys to see the original one. Okay, let me play the original one. Okay, so they don't provide me with the original one. So I'm not gonna play the audio due to copyright, but this is the video. So I received mixed reviews based on the comments that I said. I gave commentary on it. So individuals was coming at me saying that this is our culture. You don't know what you're talking about. We've been doing this for etc. etc. So let me kill this misconception, okay? Sexualizing ourselves was never our culture. Sexualizing sexual desires was never our culture. This is something that was taught to us through slavery by the slave masters, right? Where the slave masters would treat the slave females, give them a little bit more, how can you say, loving and caring than the other ones because of the sexual things that they was doing, right? For example, opening their legs and allowing the slave masters to freely get in. They receive perks for that, okay? Sexualizing ourselves was never our culture. And not only is it not our culture, it's a high level of disrespect because we as individuals know that you doing such heinous behaviors only shows that your IQ is below universal level, okay? And I just felt for myself, I just felt like I had to address that because a lot of you guys just, see things and because you was born into it, you thinking that this is something that we do. No way on God's green earth was we ever shaking our booties, going on the floor, doing splits and stuff. When you go even look into African culture and you go to the museum, some of you guys need to go to the museum. When you go into the museum, you will see that we had customs and rituals and dances. These were sacred dances. Nothing sacred can go with sexualization, okay? Sexualization of self came through slavery, came through the slave masters. These are the behaviors that they was taught. Just like being a gangster, that is not our culture, right? You have people say, that's our culture, this is what we do. Why you guys is culture vulturing? We're not culture vulturing. They're just they're getting their PC for a behavior that they taught you. We was never taught to be gangsters. Gangster comes from Europe. Being a gangster is a European ideology that is not of colored people descent. We have more sense and logical. We don't know what violence is. Violence is something that was taught to us due to the circumstances. But on a broad scale, we don't do these type of things. You understand? So when I hear individuals say things in the notion of, oh yeah, man, you know, you don't know what you're talking about. We've been doing this for years. What's years? Was we doing this for years, or was we doing this for centuries? Which one is it? Because this sexualizing ourselves is a new phenomenon that came in the last, let's say, 40, 50 years, right? Once upon a time, ladies used to dress modest. When you look into the old 60s and the 50s and the 40s, ladies was dressing modest, wearing poom shorts, showing, wearing thongs or bikinis to go to the club, see-through dresses and all that. This is things of the new. So when I hear people say that this is part of our culture, you're disrespecting your ancestors. You're disrespecting your great-grandmother, the ladies that respected themselves, knew that, because we was slaves, the only thing that we had control over is to have people respect us from how we presented ourselves. Like, we took honor in coming outside looking appropriate. You're living in a society now where the less appropriate you look, the more important you perceive people to take you, if that makes sense. So I'm dress like this. So if I dress like this, you understand what I'm saying? Everything's gonna be all right. You understand? Everything is gonna be all right. Come on, man. When are we gonna wake up and realize these are behaviors that was taught upon us? Okay? This is peasantry behavior, savagery behavior. We're following the ways of the heathen. These are the things that they used to do in their times. These are the things that used to be done in Rome. You can look through history. When you see the Romans, they used to walk around with no drawers on, being butt naked. They used to have open orgies, right? This is where all these feast days like Valentine's Day come from, right? When these individuals had their own special feast day and they out there doing whatever. Cousins sleeping with besties sleeping with family members, neighbors sleeping with each other. These are the attributes of them. These are their characteristics. But because we have become slaves and have become under their rulership, right? They have told us to follow this, and we followed it. And look at the condition where you got individuals coming at me for speaking up for heinous behaviors and saying these things is unacceptable. What are we doing? Enough is enough. This is not our culture. It never was, and it will never be now. You gotta understand when you are being programmed to act a certain way. Okay? When you get a newborn child is in complete purity. They don't know what wicked and evil, foolish, wearing nothing on unless they are exposed to that. And guess what we're doing now? We are exposing our children to such behaviors. We're telling our children it is okay to be like this. It is okay to dress like this. It is okay to be a gangster, right? We got fathers, right? So-called street niggas are teaching their children to be tough guys, right? But they're teaching them to be tough guys amongst each other, right? Don't let a black man step on your shoes. Don't let the black man do this. Don't let the black man do that. But never give that same lecture and energy to go against the Europeans, to go against the power structure, to go against the police, to go against these individuals who's literally, historically, statistically have shown to do damage and destroy black and brown people all over the world. Taught behavior. It's like we embrace being slaves, bro. And we'll find every reason to justify our struggles and why it's accepted, right? We accept everything in the world. We disagree with everything in the world but the conditions that we are in. And we'll go against anybody that's shedding light on these conditions and saying, nah, we got to do better. Nah, we got to do better. Nah, we got to stop these behaviors. When individuals start talking like that, black people get mad. When real black people start talking like that, black people get mad. If Martin Luther King was alive right now, black people will be mad. If Malcolm X was alive right now, black people will be mad. Individuals that see in the greater good in us, there will be black people that's gonna be mad. And it's your very own. It's never the ones that's You know, it's never the ones that don't look like you. It's always the ones that's looking like you. It's always the ones that's from your community. It's always the ones that's going through it, that's always complaining, always got some negative things to say. And when I see the comments and I go look at these people's profiles, these people is smoking weed, drinking liquor, showing bags of money in their hands and their ears. These are the individuals has been sucked into the chaos, into the foolishness. Because the chaos and the foolishness got them to live that life that they see on TV, and they thinking that this is normal. They think because they're holding 20, 30, $40,000 in their hands, they think that that's normal. When that 30, 40, $50,000 is not going into a community to better, to take these children out of poverty, to make sure they go to good schools, to make sure that teachers are being paid to really teach children true history, black history, colored history, melanated history. None of that. Right? But when I come on, or when brothers like Charleston White come on, or anybody, Dr. Umar, you know what I'm saying, the list goes on, you know what I'm saying? Even to an occasion, Hassan Campbell, when you see these brothers and they come on and they telling you what's going on, you guys get upset. You guys get emotional. You guys get angry. You guys say things in the notion of, oh man, you just mad, or you don't know what you're talking about, or you this, or you that, you are old head, or you broke, you get everything to override the fact that we are suffering. To override the fact that these things that we're doing is taught behaviors, that somebody was teaching you to act like this. There's a machine that's in place that's programming you to think like this, right? When you say this is of our culture, did you guys ever go on YouTube and check African dances? Did you ever go on YouTube and type in African rituals? Did you guys even think to take the time out and check reggae music, you know, Caribbean music, West Indian music in the early stages? Did you guys ever take the time out to check those things out? When I hear Bob Marley and I hear these conscious brothers, the music was never made for women to shake their ass and be on the floor and do splits, have their head to the ground and their feet in the air. No, that came later on when reggae music got compromised, just like hip hop when it got compromised. You understand? These things are now presenting itself after the compromising took place. Who did the compromising? The colonizers. Who's creating this confusion? The colonizers. So I say all of this to say this. So this is our culture. So you telling me you will have no problem with your daughter doing these type of behaviors? So then if you have no problem with your daughter doing these type of behaviors, then that means you don't have no problem with your daughter sleeping with the whole community. That means you don't have no problem with your daughter on the knees giving head to the whole community. Because you can't disagree with one and accept the other. You got to accept it all. Because all of it comes in a package deal. If you sexualizing our women, then women is only going to think to be a sexual object. They're not going to perceive themselves to be a Coretta. They're not going to see themselves to be a Betty. They're not going to conceive themselves to be none of that. They just want to be sexual. Because sexualization is our culture. This is what's being said. So let's sexualize the entire black race. And all these children that's being born out of wedlock is gonna be broken down, and then eventually you're gonna do what? You're gonna put them, you're gonna put them, or should I say, you're gonna prepare them for a prison complex, because that's what's gonna end up happening. Because if the balance is not around and mommy is doing something, that means if mommy's doing something and daddy's not around, the male figure or the male presence for that child will be the streets, will be these rappers, will be the machine, will be the government. And you know the government don't like you, just like they don't like me. So, I say all of that to say, wise up, people. To know better is to do better. Our culture is a culture of royalty, of morals, principles, dignity, honor, loyalty. That is our culture. The peasantry came from the peasanters, okay? AKA the invaders, okay? They are the disease of the universe. And because of that, they are killing us. Support the movement, like, comment, share, subscribe. Be a part of this, man. And if it's your first time, I hope it's not your last time. If it's your second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth time, that means I'm still on your mind. That means you gotta stay on that grind. You better get yours, because I'm gonna get mine. You heard? And I'ma holler at y'all.